Hello YouTube and fellow Star Wars collectors! On this episode of Toys All the Way, we will be taking a look at some custom droids that I recently added to the collection. If you're new to the channel or a fan of Star Wars collecting, be sure to smash a like on this video, remember to subscribe, and make sure to ring that bell to stay notified. And a special thank you to my channel members, your support is greatly appreciated. Welcome back everyone. So as you can see, I've got a bunch of unique and custom droids that I've recently added to the collection, and this was a really fun project that I have to give a big shout out to Hole in the Ground Productions for always supplying the community with these amazing world building items. If you're unfamiliar with his work, please go check the link in the description down below. He offers some amazing world building items that will really add to your shelf displays and dioramas. So do yourself a favor and definitely check him out. I have another video showcasing some of his products like barrels and crates in my favorite world building items video, so also check that out if you're interested. But yeah, this was a really fun project, and I'm always up for adding more random characters to my spaceport town and diorama, and these droids are going to fit in quite nicely, especially on some of those landing platform areas. Typically you see a lot of droids and maintenance vehicles and stuff, so these guys are going to blend in very nicely. And it's also nice to get a variety of droids added to the collection. We typically only see like astromechs like R2s, R5s from Hasbro, and then yeah, you know, Disney Parks occasionally gives us something new and unique, but these are very cool droids that are, you know, much more unique than what we normally see. So this is going to be a breath of fresh air for sure. But with that being said, let's take a closer look at each one of these droids. So if you're unfamiliar with the products from Hole in the Ground Productions, everything he offers is casted in high quality resin, which means you will not see any of the terrible filament lines that are present on most 3D printed items. As both a photographer and collector, I personally prefer this option, as I want the highest quality accessories and pieces for both my displays and toy photography. Most of his sets require assembly, but for these droids I opted to use Gorilla Tack instead of Loctite glue, allowing for some articulation. His world building kits are really easy to work with, and I recommend using a variety of spray paint, blue tape, and a lot of weathering, followed by dry brushing of course, to achieve the look of the droids I'm showcasing today. I will say that these sets are always a blast to add to my collection, and you simply cannot beat them in terms of quality and durability. My next project on the to-do list is Din Djarin's homestead from the final episode of Mandalorian Season 3. Here we have 4 of my personal favorites, with the Gonk droid naturally being number 1. There's just something about Gonk droids that is very Star Wars, so of course this guy would be my favorite. I spray painted him that aqua color, which is one of my favorite colors in general, and I think he just turned out very nicely, especially with all this like heavy weathering. He just looks like he's been around a spaceport for quite some time, powering up stuff, and yeah, he's a cool, very cool droid. I also used that specific Montana chrome paint, which I think was really nice. It was the first time I've used it on some of Hole in the Ground Productions products, and I think it turned out very nicely here. I also used it for the war table, and that was perfect. But yeah, I used that for some of the hits here on these metallic areas, and then of course we got this nice handy little wire that he provides, and I just added a lot of rust here and just, you know, kind of weathered this thing to make it just look very run down and beat up. And then of course I used a paint marker to get some of those nice little light details in there and just, you know, give them some extra pops of color. And one last thing to note is typically you would actually glue this in place with some Loctite, but I opted to use some tack just to keep it in place, but also allow it to maybe, you know, like get a little bit of a forward motion for some articulation. But that's, you know, subject to your own personal taste. So taking a look at another droid here, this guy is really cool. I really like the look of this droid. He's very fun. He's supposed to have arms. Mine unfortunately were a little bit damaged on my own accord, so I need to get replacements and get those painted up because they're actually 3D printed, so they're a little bit more fragile, whereas this guy, you know, is the hard resin. He's not going to break or anything like that, so unfortunately can't show you with his arms, but you get the gist of this droid. He's kind of like a treadwheel type of guy, and he just rolls around. But yeah, really cool. I like the design of his head as well, this football shape, so he's a really nice one to add to the collection. And again, I use that metallic spray paint here, added some nice rust and a little bit of, you know, scuffing to it, and I think this one really turned out nicely. And then moving on over here, we have a similar thing going on with that metallic and just a lot of rust added to it. And this droid's pretty cool too. I don't know, it just kind of reminds me of like a little boat or something like that. But yeah, this guy's also going to look very cool. Not much to him though, you know, he just kind of rolls around. And then of course the more typical treadwell droid that we see in Star Wars, and this one has an articulated head. You can actually take this out. It's been engineered to, you know, have a little bit of a swivel there. So this guy's really, really cool. Just little droid rolling around town. Again, nice hard resin piece. This is not going to break on you. Of course, this is maybe, subject to a little bit of damage if you really like bent it, but no. This is all really high quality stuff here. So this one I'm pretty excited about because I like Treadwells and I don't have enough of these specific looking droids in my collection. Circling back to like using glue and stuff like that, I opted to use putty as well for these guys. So I kind of have them just, in place with the putty. They won't fall apart, but it still allows me to like articulate them. That's just something that I personally do. I just like to have a little variety here. Maybe if I'm doing like some type of photography, but you're more than welcome to glue these in place. In fact, I actually just glued this part down here because I figured that's not going to move as much. But yeah, I wanted him to have a little bit of a swivel kind of going on for his head and upper torso area. But this guy's really cool. I just, spray painted this one white primer, taped it off, did the red, added some black as well. A lot of painting, a lot of taping, and then of course just gave this one a nice dry brushing of like, my go-to mix. And, I just wanted him to look a little bit more Tatooine and like beat. So yeah, he looks pretty good. And yeah, this one's going to be a really nice addition to the collection as well. And then we have this guy who is really cool because we saw this one in season 1 of The Mandalorian. I don't know if you noticed, but yeah, we saw this type of astromech rolling around town. And it's really cool that Hole in the Ground gave us this guy. Very unique, like him. Again, I used the putty on his arms just because I want them to have a little bit of a swivel, even though like you kind of got him looking down like that, which is, cool. That's about the limit of what he can do, but still wanted to have that option. He unfortunately doesn't have a swivel at the head, but it's okay. And then again, I used that chrome color here, which I think looks really, really nice. Kind of helps him, I don't know, just look more like an astromech in my opinion. And then for these little details, I opted not to use a paintbrush because that would have been pretty annoying, and I was trying to get these done and added to the collection quicker, so I just used a paint marker and then sealed everything with a matte varnish after I like weathered him up. So pretty cool stuff, and yeah, very happy to have these. Thanks to Hole in the Ground Productions again for supplying these things for the community. If you want to run a successful spaceport, then you're going to need a number of helpful droids to ensure that everything from engine panels to fuel lines and pressure manifolds are in top-notch order. Just think about it. Who else is going to replace your turbonic Venturi power assimilator, engine heat sinks, or cryogenic density combustion boosters? Thanks to Hole in the Ground Productions, Polonium Port is now in good company of this fleet of maintenance droids and mechanics. While these droids appear aged and weathered up, don't let them fool you. They are built for adventure and have seen everything from the height of the Old Republic to the fall of the Empire. Not to mention, if you're looking for a quick charge or power hookup, then both the charismatic four-legged Gonky or crass tall barrel Gonk have got you covered. The universe is known for its unique droids, and it's certainly a delight to add some new designs to the collection, especially ones that are not just your average astromech or Gonk. So do yourself a favor and check out Hole in the Ground Productions if you're looking to spruce up your collection or spaceport. I hope you've enjoyed this video and taking a look at these awesome custom droids that I've recently added to the collection thanks to Hole in the Ground Productions. Feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And don't forget to drop a like on this video and subscribe if you're new to the channel. It really helps and is always greatly appreciated. Thanks everyone, and may the Force be with you.